Hello students. This video is in the series of the last video in which we discuss the magical mirror and the four persons, the four friends of the Dr. Heidegger. So, in this video, the remaining part of the story I'll discuss with you. Thou, the old doctor of today, was a passionate lover. When he was in prime of his youth, it was Sylvia Ward whom Dr. Heidegger was to marry, but she died on her bridal evening. When she had to get married, she died on the same evening. Till then, she lived in his heart. It is why, on the opposite side of the chamber, there is a full length portrait of Sylvia Ward. The portrait, fitted in a gilt frame, looks more beautiful. It reflects the love episode of the doctor's life, love life, and love tale of the bygone days. Besides this portrait, there was a ponderous volume, the most curious thing in his room, which is related to the black magic. Nobody knows the title of this book. It is bound in black leather and is set with heavy silver clasps. It is said that once the chambermaid lifted it up to brush away the dust from it, to clean it. As a result, there was rattling of the doors of the almirah. The portrait of the lady had stepped 1 foot out on the floor. Several horrible and disgusting figures had peeped out from the mirror. The bronze bust of Hippocrates also showed its anger. So the doctor's study room and its surroundings create a ghastly atmosphere, a horrible atmosphere. The water of the fountain of youth was kept on the middle of a round table. Therein, the shining was full of the water of fountain of youth. According to Dr. Heidegger, it had a wonderful liquid which can revive old persons and withered things to their youth and freshness. This liquid is the water from the fountain of youth, which somehow the doctor has gathered. It is the ripe time to make his experiment on these four persons. The doctor believes that the very water of youth has miraculous power, but his friends reject his ideas. So it is necessary for the doctor to display his experiment. Now, the doctor started his experiment, but first on a rose flower. In the very beginning, Dr. Heidegger shows a withered rose, telling them that it is from Sylvia Ward as a token of love given 50 years ago. The doctor uncovers the vase and throws the faded rose into water, which it contains. The rose stirs, and a little time after, the petals of rose become green, and the leaves of the rose become green, and its petals become crimson. The guests of the doctor have been surprised because the faded rose has turned into fresh blooming rose, but they don't accept it, telling that it is some kind of trick. The doctor tries to convince them it is not any trick but the result of the water of youth. Doctor's experiment on his friends was started. The four guests are also curious, so the doctor asked them to make few to follow general rules for their guidance before swallowing the drink, that they become young again. The four guests promise and drink of the water and put their glasses on the table again. Put their empty glasses on the table again. The wondrous water shows its effect, and there is a cheerful glow on the faces of the four guests. Formerly, they appeared corpse like, but now there is a rosy glow on their cheeks, and their faces are free from wrinkles. Widow Aisherly feels herself a young woman of her 20s again. The second dose. The next point we discuss is the second dose of the water. There in the study room, the four old persons have been changed to young again. The change of mind and form invoke them to have another dose of water of youth. So the champagne glasses are again filled with the wonderful water. The guests take those glasses and immediately swallowed the liquid. It has a magical effect. So the guests also feel the magical powers of that liquid. They feel the gush of young life shooting through their veins. They are in the happy prime of their youth. Here, one thing is very important, one point is very important, and that is human follies. The olds are olds, now are the youngs. It begins, they spent, they repent the human nature of making mistakes. They are they are overexcited. They laugh loudly at their old fashioned garments. They are unruly in their behavior. They begin to dance. One of them tries to imitate the high dignity of Dr. Heidegger. They shoot and leap out the room. The widow Aisherly asks the doctor to dance with her. They behave with the same follies when they were young. It reflects the human nature that man makes mistakes and does not confess, does not want to improve, and repeat the same mistakes again. The very story mocks on the follies of youngs. And in the last of the story, the vase of the water was destructed. How it was destructed? Here in the story, the destruction of the vase full of water of youth represents the destruction of the sources of delightness because of misdeed, overexcitement, misunderstanding, and carelessness of young age. There in the study room, the invited guests were in new garments of youth because of the result of magical water. Cross all the boundaries due to excitement. So, in their blind race, they destroyed the vase that is full of water of youth. In the same way, the youngs of today have lack of patience, so they destroy their sources of happiness. So, this was the end of the story, that they destructed the source of their own happiness. And the story has a moral also. What is that moral? Here in the story, we study human nature. It exposes that human nature is full of weakness, and many people are incorrigible. Every old person wants to show himself as young. Sex is instinct, which human wants every man and even woman. The story also exposes that youngs are youngs of mind, and children of behavior, and even the old man wants to retreat to their young age, if it is possible. It also comments on the different stages of life. If we talk about the title, it is of the strong and quiet appropriateness. It is suggestive also because all events in the story revolve around Dr. Heidegger's experiment, and the plot is a compact one. There is nothing to divert our attention from the main plot. From the very beginning till the last ending, all the story deals with the single experiment, Dr. Heidegger's experiment. Its characterization is also superb. The story is written in simple English, quite easy for the readers to understand. The writer writes clear language. His expressions are also lucid and clear. There is no complication in the plot construction. The story deals with natural flow in language and words. Thank you. This is all about the story, and here we end the story written by Nathaniel Hawthorne. Thank you, students.